Um, I don't have cancer in my breast. And I'm grateful, and I no longer want to check out. The part of me that existed and identified with pain died. She died. She was murdered by two people who said that they loved her as they were going behind her back. And I'll end this with saying that the betrayal isn't that my partners decided to move on without me, because truthfully, they have every right to do so. It's the fact that they said that they based their decision on the fact that I said I was done, and they took that to mean I quit. Natasha said that was self-explanatory. Unfortunately, our contract states that we don't do self-explanatory. If I withdraw, it has to be in writing, and it has to be a unanimous agreement. I never even uttered the words I quit. And if you felt that way, why did you register me for the event that you knew I was going to, the business event? That happened Friday, July 26th. Sunday, July 28th. It was the first day I picked up my phone. First day I got out of bed. And I thought, let me see if they've tried to block me from our company Facebook page, because I created it. It's an account that's attached to my main personal account. So I thought, let me see if they tried anything funny with the Facebook account. It was the first time I had the strength to face what they had done. So I go on Facebook and I log into the Winning Team Realty. I just switch over from my main account to that one because it's a page that I created from my personal page. And I go and I tried to do something, and it told me that I needed to put in the password to do so. Now, I created the password. And I thought, as I suspected they did. But what I didn't know is that Facebook is a snitch. You guys know that I said that we had our meeting that Wednesday, and it was supposed to have taken place at 8 o'clock. That was the conversation where they tag team me, went in on me, and I said I was done. And that was the conversation that they used to say I quit. We had that conversation at 8 o'clock. We didn't get on our group chat until 8 o'clock. According to Facebook, at 7:54 that Wednesday night, Natasha Chisholm Jones went into the Facebook account and changed the password. It had nothing to do with me saying I'm done, which meant I'm done with this conversation. They used that as their excuse to say that I withdrew. But that conversation didn't happen until 8 o'clock. The Facebook I was locked out of, the password was changed on our Facebook page that I created at 7:54, right before we got on our group chat. Andrew and Natasha had talked behind my back. They were probably talking through text the whole 3 hours Natasha and I was on the phone, and she was reassuring me that I was an angel. I don't know if Natasha knows, even to this day, that I know that she changed the password before we had our group meeting. But if you're watching this, Natasha, Facebook showed a timestamp at 7:54 that night, Andrew texted the group at 7:58 and said he would call us in 2 minutes. And we started that group chat at 8:01. Y'all had already started removing me from the group before we got on the phone that night. And it was because Andrew was upset with me for calling him out for flaking on that business trip. And he called you because he knew that you were fickle, phony, and fake enough to agree with him because you had been doing it behind my back and I didn't know. Empathizing, sympathizing, and agreeing with me in person. And because you wanted his dick in your mouth, you would go and agree with him and throw your best friend under the bus and kick me out of a business that you passed up on, that I started. Might have been Andrew's money, but I did everything. You couldn't even be trusted to open our P.O. box, Natasha. I had to do that too. And I always told you guys, if you hurt me, I'll spend the rest of my life trying to destroy yours. Unfortunately, God wouldn't allow me to do that. Because when you guys did that to me, I died. So much so that I got masses in my breast and ended up at cancer centers. And they've been there since the beginning of our partnership. God makes no mistakes. You were betraying me, Natasha, back then. Telling me you love me the whole time. Benefiting from the blessings that I manifested from myself. I would have always had that opportunity even if I never met you. Because I introduced Andrew to you. And I remember when I said if that I would destroy you. And you asked me, what about your soul? You were so scared of me jujuing you. You tried to play on my soul like me jujuing you was going to damn me to hell. Natasha, for what you did to me, for the betrayal, because I have more forgiveness for Andrew. Andrew was never my friend. You've been my friend for years. You owed me that loyalty. You were the snake, Natasha, and you've been a snake for a long time. And I didn't see you as a venomous snake. I saw you as a garden snake. And I was going to continue overlooking the things that really bothered me in our friendship. I loved you. And God dealt with me too. God dealt with me. And what was meant to destroy me, the same knife that you use, both of you use, to stab me in my heart, it didn't kill me, but it allowed for pain, poisonous pain that I've been carrying around for years to seep out. You can't kill me. You can't destroy me. And like I said before in my Sloan video, you can't juju me. Everything that is meant to destroy me is only building me up. You propelled me into a new era for myself. I have died and come back to life. A new body, a new mind, a new heart. I'm pain-free. I am trauma-free. You created something even more powerful than I was. 3 weeks ago. And I did send my petitions out for God to avenge me, because the whole heavens heard me when I let out that cry when I got home the day that you betrayed me. And when I told you that I was going to ask God to judge between us both, you knew exactly what the fuck I meant. But you know what? And I'm going to close with this. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. There's nothing I can do to you that's worse than what you've done to yourself. And I have been healing my soul, not healing from cancer, thank God, but healing from a soul that died. Because I was already 1 foot in and 1 foot out due to the pain that I felt in my childhood and in my life up until now, but I kept finding reasons to live outside of myself. Y'all took away the last reason that I had to live in that old state. I died. I let myself die. And now I've been being nurtured. My soul has been being nurtured back to health. My family ain't left my side. They cook for me. They've been bringing meals to me. They've been bringing gifts to me. They've been laying hands on me. They have been by my side. My mother and my relationship is A1. We talked about my spirituality, and she said for the first time she sees me now. I don't even have to tiptoe around my spiritual practices anymore. I gave my story that I just told to you guys a condensed version in a church today. I ain't stepped foot in a church in 10 years because nobody wants this type of spiritualist in a church. My Uncle James asked me to come and share my story in his church. And he's been spending the last week apologizing to me because of the pain that I've been carrying around that they are now privy to, that they had no idea of. I've been healing my family wounds. We've been healing spiritual wounds. It's like when Jesus was betrayed by Peter. And y'all thought when he was crucified, that was it. I rose up with a new mind, a new body. My services aren't even the same. I'm stronger, wiser, more powerful than ever. This time around, Natasha, because you knew that I felt unloved by everybody, including God. I felt like God used me to help others that he loved, but he didn't have that same love for me because of all the pain that he allowed me to go through. And finally, with this, I wanted to check out, but God said, no, you're not going to die. You are not going to die. You are going to be loved. I am going to show you in your pain how much I love you, because you've spent 36 years thinking I don't love you, thinking your family doesn't love you, and thinking these people do. I need to be able to show you my love for you in a way that you won't be able to deny it. I've seen miracles happen in my own body. A mass this big from one doctor, and then 48 hours later in the next doctor, almost non-existent. And right now, I don't feel any lump or any pain. I can still feel a little bit of pain. I'm sharing this message with my busted babies because y'all deserve to know my story, a little bit about my story, and why I am the force that I am. Because not even death, not even my own immortality am I afraid to look at, to take accountability for. I had trust issues, and I might have been overbearing, and I didn't know how to not fight every battle. And I could have. No, fuck that. Fuck that. The only thing I could have did differently, Natasha, was cut you off when I first started getting red flags. Following my intuition. It's always been my downfall, is not trusting my gut the first time. Now I'm better. And now I got my family support behind me. Even with my spirituality, I was alone. And you are my support system because my family wasn't with this shit. Now they just want me to know that I'm loved no matter what. Now they believe that I am powerful and I have a purpose. And they've always known it. But now they just want to see me walk in it. They don't even give a fuck how I'm operating anymore. I brought healing to my family through this. I watched my uncle, who's been struggling with his own health issues and who we thought was on his way to glory, have a renewed sense of life. He got up in that church today after I shared my testimony because he asked me to. Because he felt like there were people who needed to hear that. And he offered me a counseling job at their church. I had to turn it down because y'all don't want me in y'all church doing juju and reading cards. That ain't gonna change. His memory, after all of his seizures, a new spark, a new vigor. I had a conversation of heart to heart with my sisters today. I ain't never wanted to do that because they've always been so much like my mother. And growing up, it would be them against me. And we talked for hours today. And my sisters understood me for the first time. Not knowing how we can have the same upbringing and have completely different experiences. And I've always shielded them from all of my pain. And I was doing myself a disservice because my hardest sister would show me the most compassion. My mother and I, we've hugged each other. We've had therapy sessions. We've talked. We've let it all out. We've cried. We've prayed together. Because my love for you is genuine. I'm still struggling with the grief, the loss, because I valued our friendship. I missed you even when you start pulling away from me and feeling and smelling yourself. Andrew, I could have loved you. I could have fallen in love with you. You just treated me so badly because your heart was still broken. And I told you at first that you were just using me to get past that heartbreak, and I allowed you to do so because I'm a healer and my vagina heals, and I wanted you to be healed, and I wanted me to get some sexual healing in the process, so it worked out fine for me. In a holistic way, I loved you too as a person, the same way I love anybody. I didn't ask you to engage personal feelings with me. I didn't ask for you to start telling me you love me, because that's not something that you do to people when you are planning on betraying them. That is psychopathic. That's diabolical. You literally told me you love me the same day that you had already conspired with Natasha to kick me out of the business because you didn't like the way I spoke to you. You didn't like how I held you accountable as a businessman, putting us to the side, our business that you solicited for high school football, that you said you was, listen, y'all wasn't ready to do real business, and you weren't ready for a real person. Y'all deserve each other. Andrew, I still love you. Natasha, I still love you. I've had to start doing grief counseling. To deal with the loss. And like I told y'all in that email, not even the lumps on my breasts and having to deal with the idea of possibly having cancer was more painful than what you guys put me through. By the time those lumps start lumping up the way they did because of the pain that I was feeling, I was already dead. And like my mother said, I don't have to do a thing because you spilled innocent blood. And that blood cries out for justice and vengeance. And I was innocent, and you guys killed me. And while God deals with me and healing me and my pain and allowing me to recover from a heart full of a lifetime of pain, being done wrong for a long time, God said, enough, no more. You've paid your debt. And that spirit that identified itself to me as pain, when it left my body as my family was laying hands on me, and I struggled with that demon. And I tore up my uncle and auntie's living room, not even knowing it, because I was going through an exorcism. When it left my body, it told me its name was pain, and it attached itself to me as soon as I came out of my mother's womb, because its intentions was for me to not be born. But it couldn't get to me while I was in my mother's womb. So it said it waited. And when I was born, it attached itself to me. And some of my earliest memories in life, even the good ones, have pain attached to them. And I always took it personally when my mother said that at 3 days old, when I was 3 days old, she felt like there was a spirit of darkness around me. I thought my mama was calling me the darkness. I thought she was telling me that she gave birth to the spawn of Satan, but she said no. When you were 3 days old, I perceived that there was a spirit of darkness that had attached itself to you. Now my question is, where was your spiritual gifts to be able to free your daughter? But she wasn't strong enough to defeat that demon. I was. And it identified itself as pain because it couldn't take me out while I was in my mother's womb. And so my life has been infected and infested with pain and suicidal thoughts and sickness and depression, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, loss, gain and loss, betrayal, you don't even know that you was being used by the enemy, by my enemy. You got to pay for that. You got to account for that. Busted babies, I love you. And the version that you get of me, you might not recognize anymore. No more doubt, no more shame, no more guilt. And if you guys didn't know that I dealt with that, I did. No más. Love you guys.